what do you call it? He went to go get some, I don't know, he went to go get some food, I think. Hmm? Oh, is that what it was? Hello. Hey, Pooja, how are you?
Hey, Ketan, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on? Hey, I need to call you. Okay, so we got a couple of minutes. You want to talk
Yeah,
about?
go ahead. I'm fine.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. So she didn't have an agent before.
No.
She came back and now she has an agent.
So till now, like until she submitted the application and everything, and all of a sudden I got a text message saying, "Hey, did you get the application for my client?" I'm like, "Who's your client?" And then she put those two names, Devona and the other one. So
So you can we'll talk about it afterwards. But
sure. Yeah.
let's do this. Yeah, I mean, and you already sent me the application, right?
Yes, I did.
You did. Let me go back and look. I haven't even had a chance to look for it yet. Let's see here.
So there are two co-signer. One co-signer has two kids, and then the other one is Devona.
Okay, okay. Is it the let's see here.
I sent it around 1:30.
Yep, I see it. Okay, okay, got it. All right, I'll look at it in a little bit, and then let's talk about that. Yeah, it's not a tricky situation. It happens often.
Can I tell her or ask her or no?
Huh? No, so we'll talk about it. So there's a couple of ways to kind of go through it. Obviously, you still have to honor it, but there's certain things we're going to do to confirm it. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll talk through it. All right.
Sure.
Hey, Vinay, thanks for joining. Geetika, thank you. We'll get started in a few minutes here.
Hi, Ketan. I'm really sorry. I know there's a rule no driving and the Zoom, but last minute changes. I have to go and pick up my middle schooler.
No, that's fine. It's not, yeah. So, I mean, the idea is for participation, but we're not as strict as the CE credit courses are. So you should be fine.
Thanks a lot.
No worries.
Oh yeah, they don't even turn off your screen for 30 seconds.
Yeah, on CE and that.
I know, I was there last month and I had to, I don't know, open the door or something. They're like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Uh-oh, okay."
Yeah, they're really strict. I mean, and that was the idea behind what we're doing here, was more towards that anyway, was, hey, you know what, we wanted, the difference is we wanted active participation, right? So our idea was that we wanted to get everybody to kind of just have their videos on. So I am going to talk about that in a minute. And then actively participate in these discussions. The class itself is only 45 minutes. At the most, it's 50 minutes long. We try to keep it.
I'm at the school and I just park and attend the class and get my daughter in the car. That's all. So I can attend, be there with her also.
Yeah.
Can't leave the kids alone at school.
Okay, the happy hour is already finalized, or it's still have to decide on the venue?
No, yeah. So we do. It's going to be Chewy's in Frisco.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Look forward.
So
we were talking to some real, other agents in our group, like offline on WhatsApp, and we were like, let's meet. And then we saw your message. I'm like, okay, we don't have to plan anything. Now Ketan is doing.
Yeah. No, we so what it is we've been wanting to do this for gosh, at least 8 months, you know, and every time we think about it, you know, the COVID keeps coming back. You
Right.
know, we were actually going to do something back in September last year. We've done a couple of events in Austin, because Austin's a little bit smaller. So we were able to do some events in Austin, but we just didn't get around to doing it. And we used to do, you know, during the holiday season, we actually used to get together for a Christmas or a holiday party.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You know,
Ah,
so
wow.
yeah, we did a holiday. We've been doing holiday parties in both Austin and Dallas, and we also got together with a couple of our agents in Houston one time too. So hopefully we'll get a chance to do that or keep doing that going forward. So that'll be nice. And you know what I mean, you know, this is part of what we are. You know, life's too short at the end of the day. You know, you got to be able to. You know, it's not about profits. It's not about, you know, it's more about the relationships, and it's about, you know, how we portray ourselves in the future. So it is what it is. All right. I know we got a lot of people on, so I'm not going to go back through everybody, but a couple of ground rules. We're going to go ahead and get started. Can everybody hear me okay at this point? All right. Awesome. So one of the ground rules are you have to have your video on as long as you can. Okay, it doesn't mean you absolutely have to, but we do want to go ahead and not only see your face, we want to make this a extremely interactive session, which means that I am going to ask on you. I'm going to ask you questions. There's no right or wrong questions. You know, every one of these sessions goes about 45 minutes. And we try to keep this as interactive as possible. So I see on my top list here, I see everybody on Vinay. If you are able to put your video on, that would be great. Amit's phone, same thing. If you can put your video on, Sanjay, same for you. Ash, you as well. If you guys can get your videos on, that would be great. So all right, Sanjay, thank you. And Amit, we're missing Amit's iPhone. He may be driving or something, and that's perfectly okay. All right, so we know we only have a few minutes on this, 45 minutes to be exact. So I am going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully you guys got a chance to take a look at the presentation. If not, not a big deal. We're going to be going over it right now. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this presentation going. Give me 1 second. All right, and I got somebody on chat real quick. Hey, Aparna, how are you? Thanks for joining. All right, give me a minute. I'm going to get this presentation up. Okay. So just a really quick couple of minutes on what we do here. We've been doing this. This is probably our 4th time doing oh, can you guys see the screen?
No, it's blank.
It's blank, right? Yeah, I just saw that. Hang on. That's not good. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. So couple of things. So we've been doing this real estate. It used to be called Real Estate and Marketing Bootcamp. I forgot to change that out. It's now just called the Real Estate Bootcamp. We've been doing this probably since 2020, so about 2 years now. And the idea here is to kind of, you know, do what a lot of the bigger brokerages do, which is, you know, just give you guys segmented training. And what I mean by segmented training is, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to have, in the past, it's been about 10 to 12 sessions. And it used to be twice a week. We've made it now just once a week on our Wednesdays when we do our Wednesday training. The great thing about this is it's 30 to 45 minutes long. Each one's a very small session. The idea is to get you guys going. We might have some questions. We might have some homework for you guys to do. The idea is to go ahead and get engaged and be involved more than anything else. And all the sessions are unique. I mean, today we're doing Real Estate Bootcamp. Really, it's called Know the Code, and I'll kind of explain why this is so important here in a minute. The other ones we have are doing your first listing. We get contracts 1, 2, and 3. In fact, it gets put into 3 different phases or 3 different weeks of sessions. We do first client communications. We have one that's let's see, what else do we have? And one unrelated on advertising, marketing, things like that. New construction. So a lot of different topics. And what we're going to be doing here is this is going to go on for the next I think we have about 12 sessions this year. So we'll probably do this for 12 to 14 weeks. So really excited about it. Oh, we lost it again. All right. So let's see if I can. All right. So here's your ground rules. Basically, please keep your videos on at all times. Active participation is required through the sessions. I don't believe we have any tasks on here other than just reading the code, but I'll kind of go over that here in a minute. And then each one of the sessions are going to be about 30 to 45 minutes in length. I try to keep it to 45 minutes. So we do have a hard stop, usually around 6:20. We do try to go pretty fast on this. All right, so first one, what we're going to go over today is going to be the NAR Code of Ethics. NAR obviously is the National Association of Realtors. All right, so I'm going to ask one of the first questions that comes up. Why is the code important? And what I'm going to do is I am going to go down the line, and you can mute yourself. You can unmute yourself, and then of course, if you are unmuted, just mute yourself otherwise. All right. So Pooja, you are actually the first on my list. So I am going to ask you. So
Sure.
Why do you think the code is important to you?
First of all, to play ethical with my clients and to protect their best interest.
Perfect. Let me go to the next person. So we're going to try to see if we can get as many of these ideas or suggestions from as many as we can without really going overboard. So Rama, you're next on my list. So why do you think the code is important to you? So we talked about ethics, making sure we're in line with our clients and so forth. So give me another reason why it's important.
Yeah. Fiduciary
Responsibilities. Yep. Very good. Yep. Rajni, you're next on my list. You can go ahead and unmute and then just give me another example of why the code would be important to you.
It gives us an overall guidelines for the realtors, what needs to be done and what is not right. So the interest of the clients or kickbacks or what to do or what not. They lays out several
ground rules. Exactly. All right, we're going to do one more and then I'm going to give you another answer to it. So get the guy, you're next on my list here. So tell me why the code is important to you. Get the guy, sorry, I remember you are driving. So let's go to Venkat. Welcome to the team. And you're actually next on my list here. So I'm going to ask you, why do you think the code is important to you?
This is to satisfy customer and make sure following rules of
rules. Very good. Yep. Yeah. Following the rules. All right, so we'll do one more. Ben, it looks like you're on my list next. And keep in mind, there's going to be multiple questions, a lot of different questions. So you may not be asked a question right now. You will be asked down the road. So Ben, one more thing. So why is the code important to you?
Yeah, so code of ethics is really important to maintain membership in realtor associations. If you have ethical violation, you may lose membership, and there's a lot of value in being a member of realtor. So knowing the code is step one.
Very good. Very good. All right. So, and that is close to what I was looking for. Does anybody else want to chime in as far as why they think the code is, why the code of ethics is important to them? Anybody else before I tell you?
Can I speak?
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other ideas on why the code?
I would say just as being a human being, right? Like I want to be treated with right information, right? Like someone should be ethical to me and then gives me a responsibility to be unethical to them as well. So not lying about offers, not, providing the right information so that everybody is treated with respect.
Got it. Got it. No, and that is very, very good. So there is one more thing that why the code is
Let's stop the
important.
client first.
Yeah. So here is one of the other main reasons why the code is important to you and to me and to everybody else, is to keep us out of trouble. Does that make sense? Right? Because the code is directly tied to violations. All right. So remember that the code is directly tied to what we call violations. So if you do something wrong, and if it is part of that code, then guess who's going to come back after you? And I guess, Veronica, who am I talking about that's going to come back to you if you do something wrong? What happens? What's the process? Veronica, can you, yep, you there? You're still on, yep, there you go.
What was the question again? I'm sorry, I was writing.
No. So if you do something wrong, right, who is going to come back? Who's going to come after you? What happens? What is the process? So a customer files a complaint. Where does that complaint go to? Who does it go to?
I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure you get notified.
Yeah, you get notified, but where does it go? It goes to TREC.
Oh, TREC, yes.
Right. Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah. So remember, there's no right, wrong answers here. I don't expect you guys to know the answers. So that is what this is all about. All right. And I just lost my, okay. How often should you review the code? So let's go to the next person. Geeta, welcome to Zoom. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So how often should you review the code?
Every 2 years when you get renew your license.
Very good. And I am gonna say that is correct unless somebody knows, do we have to review it annually or is it just every 2 years? I believe it is every 2 years.
It's
Every 2 years.
Okay, all right, it is every 2 years. For some reason, I keep thinking it's every year, but I guess it is, you're right. Because you're right, now with the way the new educational requirements are, it is actually part of your continuing education, okay?
Yes.
Now keep in mind, how many of our agents have already, and I'm assuming most of you guys have already done this, you guys have taken the orientation classes with your local boards, right? And so I'm talking about the local boards being whether it's Metrotex or CCAR here in Dallas, more than likely WCR or SABOR for San Antonio and HAR for Houston. So I'm going to ask, or actually, this is just a general question to all of you guys. What was, when you guys did what they call the new agent orientation with the local board, what did they go over? Does anybody remember? I know they do it in CCAR, and I believe it's also the same thing across most of them, but does anybody remember? You guys, somebody can just out loud tell me yes or no.
Yeah, code of ethics.
Code of
They did. All right, good. So they did go over the code of ethics, right? So hopefully what we're going to go over here in a minute, you guys are already familiar with. So the task for you guys today is to review the code. Pretty straightforward, right? And guess what? We got a link to the code we're going to go to. Not only are we going to go to it, but if you look at this, all right, and this is the one that's effective January 1st. So when you go click on the presentation, the link that's on the presentation will take you directly to the NAR Code of Ethics. It goes through duties to clients and customers with the standard of practice 1, 2, 3 to all the way up to, I think, 9, if I'm not mistaken, or actually more than that, 13. All right, Article 2. We haven't even gotten to all the articles. Article 3. If you notice how lengthy this code is, it's pretty involved, right? You got your duties to the clients, duties to the public, and then of course, what's the last one on here? Does anybody remember what the last one is on the code? Does anybody want to chime in, or I can ask? J. Paul, thanks for joining. What's the, so we got duties to clients, duties to public. What's the third one that we're looking for? How about Vinay? Are you on?
Yep. I cannot recall.
Duties to other realtors.
Other realtors.
Very good, very good. Duties to other realtors.
Other realtors.
So there's three of them, right? Duties to your clients, duties to the public, and of course, the last one is duties to the other realtors. Obviously, this would take us probably a few hours to go through if we were to go ahead and go through this, the whole thing, right? At least a few hours. But here's what we're going to do. We've made it pretty straightforward. We've made it pretty easy. We're going to go through it. What I call the Cliff Notes version. Okay, so it's going to be the abridged version. So here's what we're going to do. The first one is duties to customers or clients and customers, right? So we got 9 articles here that we're going to cover. And what I want you guys to, so I'm going to call on each one. You're going to read out what it says, and then you're going to tell me in 1 or 2 sentences what it means to you. All right. So that is, we are next. Let's see who we've not called on yet. All right. So Ash, welcome. And you're ready to go ahead and go through the first one. So tell me what it says, and then tell me what it means to you.
Just like protect the best interest of the client.
Yeah.
You
straightforward.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so protect the best interest of the client. You always need to work the client what he expect or what he want. Obviously, in his best interest.
What's another word for best interest when it comes to your clients? We've talked about it just a second ago.
Yeah.
What is that word? Remember that. Memorize that word. Fiduciary.
Fiduciary.
Right? Yep. So
right.
Fiduciary is your best interest to your clients. Thank you, Ash. All right. So next in line, Amit. Why don't you tell me what that one means? Number 2 means.
All right, so it's about no misinterpretation, exaggeration, or hiding facts about the property at hand. I think it's kind of directly related to mostly seller disclosures and stuff. So if you know something, it's my fiduciary duty to tell, basically, and not just say, if for example, if my seller says, hey, the water leaked over here, but I just painted it and nobody's going to know. It's my fiduciary duty to tell them that you need to disclose it in a seller disclosure and stuff like that.
Perfect. Nope, perfect. That is exactly what we're looking for. And thank you for using the word fiduciary a couple of times. I really appreciate that. So that is, again, we're going to stress that word over and over again. So fiduciary is extremely important. All right, let me see who we've not called on earlier today. Let me see here. Hang on one second, guys. Anita, thanks for joining. And tell me about number 3.
Realtors should cooperate with the best interests of the client. So with the other, maybe it's related to other realtors, or it may be to other customers as well. So we should cooperate with the other realtors, or the, like when you are working with the, either if you are the listing agent and when you are going with the buyer's agents, like cooperate and like it's a kind of a mutual agreement and showing the interest.
Yep. I'm going to put one word in here, and that's right. So how are we cooperating today? If I say BAC, what does that mean?
Buyer's agent commission.
Very good. Very good. And that is part of the cooperation. Obviously, that's not the only thing that you should be cooperating about, but that's what they're meaning. A lot of it is related to just making sure that you are cooperating with other realtors. All right, let's go to the next one.
I can read it.
Yep, go ahead, go for it.
Article 4 to 5, disclose any personal interest in a property. I think it means that if you are related to the seller or you are the sellers who disclose that facts.
Exactly. And not only that, but in our contract today, what paragraph in the 1 to 4 family utilizes this information. It is which paragraph? Does anybody know? And if you do know, just say it out loud. And I got, it's a
Section
two-part
11?
question. No, it's not. It's not paragraph 11. It is paragraph, which one is it? Does anybody know? All right, I'm gonna share it with you guys. It is, so I want you guys to remember this, and I want you guys to see what it says on it. It's paragraph 8. Okay, so as far as I know, it is paragraph 8, unless it's changed, but I think it's still paragraph 8. And what percentage should you own if you own a property and where you have to disclose it? Does anybody know how much percentage-wise you have to own to disclose?
10%.
Any percentage must be disclosed.
10%.
Oh, 10%. Okay.
About 10%.
Yep, 10%. You have to, if you own part. And now, if the seller is your brother, do you have to disclose? Does anybody know? If the
Yes.
seller is your brother, huh?
Yes, it must be disclosed.
Nope,
No?
nope, not when your seller is your brother.
Oh, okay.
No,
So-
that should be your family only.
Okay, so now that's my next question. So tell me what the family would be. Who is family that you have to disclose? So who would be?
Your
your family?
husband,
Husband, wife, daughter,
Very good.
son.
Parent,
parents too,
children, and
parents.
spouse. Right? Yep. Husband, wife, significant others, as well as children and your parents, right? But if it's a cousin or if it's a uncle or if it's a brother, no disclosure needed. All right. Let's go to the next one. Articles 6 to 8. Anybody want to take it on, or you want me to just
I'll read
call
it.
on somebody? Go ahead, Veronica. Go ahead.
No Article 6 to 8, no recommending services for a kickback or collecting money under the table. Keep client funds separate from your own. And I forget the term they use, but it's just like if you're given earnest money, make sure it's just delivered directly. Don't put that in your direct bank, in your own bank account.
Correct. Correct. It should go into the escrow account, as we call
Escrow
it.
account.
Yes.
Trust and escrow. All right. So when you give a referral gift to a client, okay, what is the, or not, actually, I take it back. Not a referral gift. When you give a referral, a gift of a referral fee to a client that was referred by somebody, what's the maximum amount you can
$50 gift card.
$50. $50.
Gift card.
Good. You guys are doing good. You guys are on a roll. I love that. All right, next one. Let's,
Ketan, one question. What is
Yeah,
that
yeah, go ahead.
escrow one? Can you repeat that escrow one?
Sure. So what they mean by escrow, right, is one of the requirements is that you cannot put money that you receive. So let's say, for example, you represent the buyers, right? And, or, let's say you represent the sellers. You can't take money from a client and then put it into your own account, right? That's, what is that word? Is it embezzlement?
Commingling.
Commingling. Thank you. Thank you. It's commingling. Yeah, you're right. Commingling is what
I
it's
have a
called.
quick question. So as a realtor, if we like recommend someone who is, a moving service or a cleaning service, and we are getting some referral money or commission, so how does that work?
Disclose. So there are certain things you have to disclose. Like, for example, and that's a really good question, right? So today there are disclosures for which type of service where you have to disclose that you're getting some kind of, not necessarily a kickback, but you're getting, because you're providing marketing materials or you're doing something. A lot of, what kind of companies am I looking for that have this today? And you see it once in a while, and it's also in the contract. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The disclosure that's required.
It's set up for like utility services.
Very good. That's one.
Yeah.
There's one more. So tell me which other one are we talking about? Good one there. That's one. There's one more that we're talking about here. Does anybody remember which other one? You actually have a document that's created by TXR that's specific to this.
Inspection?
Not inspections. No, inspections you can't. You can't get money for inspection.
Home warranty.
Very good. Thank you.
Home
Yep.
warranty.
Yeah, residential what we call it, residential service contracts, right?
Yeah.
So has anybody seen what I'm talking about? There's a document I can't remember what it's called right now, but there's a residential warranty disclosure form that says that, hey, you as the realtor or the broker are going to receive compensation for services rendered, is what it means.
Yeah.
So it's not a kickback, but it's because you're marketing them, you're providing a certain service, and that has to be, again, kind of what Pooja said earlier, it has to be disclosed. Okay.
Ethan, I
All
did
right,
see
Do we
that.
have to fill the form?
Yeah.
Yeah, remind me, I will go look for it. I know in the interest of time, I'm not going to pull it up right now, but I will look for it and see if I can find it. If anybody has a minute to pull it up, go for it and bring it up.
Yeah, Ethan, I saw it on a home for sale. It was in the disclosure package that the listing agent put on
Okay,
MLS.
so they did. Yeah,
They'd
so you
already
have
done it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's already
For the buyer
pretty done.
review.
Yeah, and that just means that they're disclosing the fact that they have it there. Did somebody send it in? Okay, I will look. I think J-Paul, I think we already answered that. Yeah, we did. All right, so next, go to the next one. Hang on, guys. All right, so this is duties to the public. So let me see. And guys, if I've forgotten to ask on you and if I have not called on you, please tell me that I haven't called on you and raise your hand or just go forward and respond to one of these. So Aparna, I don't think I've asked you yet. I might have asked you once or twice. So let's go with you here. Article number 10. Tell me more what it means.
Article number 10, no denying services on the basis of discrimination. It's
Now, what does that mean?
yeah, I mean with the fair housing laws, we'll not have to. We have, like, depending on their sex, familial status, and religion, and all that.
Yep. So we are actually going to go into fair housing laws just for 1 second. So I'm going to start you guys up with what is the first one that you are pro? Familial status? Is that one of them? Right? All right. What is the next one? What is the next one? Does anybody know?
Redlining?
No, redlining is not.
Color.
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 Sex.
Good. What else?
Sex.
Sex, religion.
No, so sex I don't think is in there. Right? All right. So here's what I want you guys to remember. Okay. I'm going to put it in chat. Okay.
Like disability, something like that.
All right. So here's the word I'm putting in. Fresh corn. Does anybody remember fresh corn from their classes?
No,
Right?
I never heard this.
You've never heard? All right. So we're going to talk about that. Okay. So what does F stand for?
Familial status.
Very good. Familial status. What does R stand for?
Race.
Religion or race?
Race. Is it race or religion? No, well, yeah, we'll get to it. It's one or the other, right? Okay.
The religion, I believe.
E doesn't have anything, okay? And E doesn't relate to anything. So we're going to take that one out. What does S stand for? Yes. So S stands for.
Yes.
Very good. H. What does H stand for?
Handicap.
Handicap. Right. What does C stand for?
Color.
Color. Right.
Color.
So, C, and then O really doesn't mean anything either. So O has no designation. Hang on. O, no designation. Okay, what are we left with? R. So this is the other R. What would that one be? So if we talked about race, what's the next one?
Religion.
Right. And what is N stand for?
Nationality.
Yeah, national origin. Exactly. All right. So what are you left with when we say E and O are left out? Guess what it relates to? E and O.
Error.
All right. So I want you guys to remember that. All right. Use the words fresh corn. And of course, just remember that E and O does not apply. Everything else does. All right. So good. All right. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. Who have I not asked on? Santosh, welcome. And if you have a minute, let's see if we can get you to tell me more about article number 11. Are you able to talk? I see you are in the car, I think.
Yes, I'm in the car. Sorry, I left my video on.
No, no worries.
Provide clients with competent services only within. I kind of remember, but I'm not able to articulate.
Yep. So provide clients with competent services only within a realtor's professional scope. What does that mean? Anybody?
That means don't provide it.
Yeah. So in other words, until you're competent on doing a commercial deal, and what I mean by what is competency in today's world? I mean, everybody has to start somewhere, right? I mean, if that were the case, then nobody would be, competent in anything at the end of the day, right? So how do you relate to competency in today's world?
Knowledge of the area.
Knowledge. And how do you get knowledge?
By having experience of working on us related areas like commercial or residential or agriculture.
But education.
By practice.
Very good. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. So by training and education, right? That is the first, if you think about it, what have you guys done, right? There's 6 classes you guys have to take in order to get your license. That's just a starting point. Then it's all up to you to make sure that you continue your education, right? So that's one thing. Keep in mind, one of the things we stress so much and that we focus on so much is making sure you guys are educated, right? At the end of the day. So one thing we're going to continue stressing is the fact that we want you guys to not only come and join us on these classes, which is great, but I also want you guys to, more than anything else, any available time you have, take classes. Especially now, and I wish I had done this earlier, but I would suggest when you're taking your continuing education classes, start taking classes that are more relevant to a particular topic or a field or a certification. Like, for example, start thinking about your, and I'm going to spend a couple of minutes here. So start thinking about your next year's or the second year's, continuing education. Say, okay, I want to learn more about commercial. Then go ahead and get some kind of commercial certification. I want to learn more about becoming a senior realty advisor, a senior specialist, or I want to become doing new homes or something, right? So start doing those certifications. The more certifications you have, the better your knowledge, the better you gain your experience. And guess what? Ultimately, it leads to more customers, right? That's what it comes down to. So just wanted to spend that couple of minutes talking about that. So let's go to the next one. Very straightforward. Hey, Anbu, thank you for joining. Yeah, go ahead. Who's that? I can't see, but go ahead.
Santosh here.
Oh, hey, Santosh. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So does this also, the Article 11, does it also mean, don't be their attorney, don't be their lender, things like that. I mean, don't advise them on things that you're not, that's not.
All right. So, and you brought up a good question, right? So, attorney. So the first thing, yeah, we cannot advise our customers on anything related to legal matters, right? Here's one of the most important sentences or statements you will learn, whether it's today, tomorrow, 6 months down the road, 5 years down the road, or even 10 years down the road. It just depends on when you will need it, but every one of us will need it one day. And that is you telling your client that, hey, you know what? I think you probably need to go talk to an attorney. That is the sentence. I want you guys to remember that. And I want you guys to remember when you need to use it, okay? If there's a dispute that you as the buyer's agent or the seller's agent and the other party being the other realtor, you guys cannot come to terms on, or if there's any kind of, anything related to a dispute or disagreement or anything like that, to where this is going to go the wrong way, that is when you really need to advise your clients to seek legal counsel. Okay. So remember that, Texas Realtors, when you go call the legal hotline, 8 out of 10 times, that's what they tell you to go is go talk to an attorney. So that is one statement that I want you guys to remember going forward. All right. And as far as comes to lenders and stuff like that, keep in mind, realtors can be lenders and lenders can be realtors. So, but again, it goes back to that disclosure that you have to have. All right. So Santosh, does that help answer your questions? Hopefully. All right, let's go on. We are on number 12, Article 12. And let's see. Anil, thanks for joining. Are you able to talk? Because you're, I just saw you join, so I guess you're next on my list. Can you talk, Anil? All right, let's go to Pooja, you're next again. So let's do Article 12. Or did we already do that one?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, no puffing.
Huh?
No puffing, no false or misleading advertising.
Yeah, no false or misleading advertising. And what does that mean? I think you just said it. What does that
No
mean?
puffing.
No puffing. Yeah, in other words, yeah, keep every.
Like be honest and truthful to your clients.
Yeah. And here's a word I want you guys to use. What does it mean?
Transparency.
Okay.
Transparency.
Transparent. Be transparent in everything that you do. Okay. That's probably the best way to explain this particular course, this particular article. All right. Let's see. Rama, we're back to you again. So number 13.
Don't break the law.
I think that one's pretty straightforward. Anybody have a question on that one? All right.
Just follow the rules.
So, Ketan, a quick question. Okay, so like we are new, and we always have fear. What if we do something wrong in contract or listing? How bad do they come for the first? I mean, not a major like offense, but something small we could have written or done. That's always scared me.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, right? Even to this day, today, for some reason, it's just I don't know if it's my OCD or what. But I will still go through a contract twice, no matter what, just to make sure that what I wrote in there was exactly what the clients are asking for. Or when I present it to the sellers, and here's the most important thing is when you're doing, when you're writing contracts, if you and your seller are talking over the phone, and the seller's like, yeah, let's go ahead and go with 495,000. I'm okay with that. Closing May 14th, and earnest money of $4,000 as an example. Put that in writing, send it back to them as a text and say, hey, just want to confirm this is what we spoke about. All right. So the most important thing there is do not rely on any verbal communications without just reiterating those communications back with your clients, just to make sure there's no confusion in what they had said and had wanted or requested and what you sent back to the realtor, that the buyer's agent or the listing agent, because that could, there's a lot of ways of making mistakes. So just something very important. Does that help?
Yeah.
Right.
Email or text is better.
Yep, exactly.
Keep the record.
Yep, exactly. Email or text is the best way to go. All right, number 14. Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a question. I think that is very straightforward, but I'm having difficulty when during the communication, sometimes during our listing, the other realtors call and ask for the prices on the offers that we received. How much can we share and how much we cannot share? So these are the ethical things that are not laid out in the contract. And as in the profession, I'm having that boundary lines, what we can share and what we cannot. And that's the advice I'm kind of needing from someone.
Sure. And that's a very good question. So number one is, I'm going to ask a question. Does anybody know what do we practice in Texas? The state of Texas practices something that I think a very handful of states across the country practice today. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? So that's a tough question.
Not need to disclose the
Non-disclosure.
non-disclosure.
Thank you. Yep, that's the answer. Non-disclosure. So Texas is number one, first and foremost, Texas is a non-disclosure state. And what that means is that unless the information is supplied, and you have to supply that information on the MLS regardless. And you understand why you have to supply it, right? Does everybody understand why you need to provide sales statistics on the MLS. MLS is the only place that that data will be available, and that is because of appraisals, right? Appraisers needed, lenders needed to evaluate, current market valuations to make sure the buyers are paying the right amount. But aside from that, Texas is considered a non-disclosure state. So when you have an offer like that, Rajni, or when you get a realtor, there's a couple of ways of doing it. Have I gone in and said I've had, and again, it goes back to being transparent without. Remember, your fiduciary responsibility is to your sellers, right? At the end of the day. So, I will say, I will tell them, I'm not going to tell you numbers, but I can tell you I have 5 offers, or I have 5 to 10 offers. If I have 5 offers, 5 to 10. If I have 7 offers, 5 to 10. If I have 9 offers, 5 to 10. I am being transparent just so that way, and let them decide, what makes most sense for them, right? We're not supposed to disclose numbers. Now, one thing you've probably seen a lot of, especially when the market was super hot for the sellers, right? Was you'll get a email or a notice back from the listing agent saying, hey, thank you for the offers. We had 85 offers, 30 of them were, over list price. 10 of them were over 100,000 over list price, things like that. After the fact, absolutely. You can't. Now, here's the thing, right? Because if one of those, if you were that one that offered 100,000 over list price, you were in the top 3. If that offer, if that contract goes south, guess what? Now you know exactly where to put the offer in. Does that make sense? So again, it's that tricky situation of how much do you disclose and when do you disclose it? Ideally, I would just say, hey, and the best words to use are highest and best. Do what's best. And this is what I tell my buyers a lot of times is go with your highest and best, go with your gut feel. Don't leave anything behind. But here's what I don't want is I don't want you to regret it if you don't get the house, right? Because buyers get emotional, right? Buyers, it's human nature to want what your neighbor has. Does that make sense? In other words, what that means is, because somebody else has it, when nobody else has it, nobody wants it, right? But when, it's that supply and demand at the end of the day. And it's part of that human nature of saying, okay, I want the same thing that they have. And of course, because of that, you're going to get what we call emotional, or your buyers are going to get emotional, or your sellers are going to get emotional, right? So yeah, at the end of the day, just keep it very straightforward and just tell them, do your best, if you want to say, and here's the other thing is, if you don't have multiple offers, don't put multiple offers on your MLS. Again, it's part about being transparent, right? So most important, only when you actually have 2 offers or more is that considered multiple offers. I've seen that once in a while where somebody puts it in, they'll have a listing, and it could be true. It's on the market for 2 hours, and then next thing you know, they put in multiple offers, deadline by Friday. Do that only if you have it. That's it's all again about being transparent, right? And doing the right things. All right, let's go on to Article 14. Let's see here. Ben, you want to tell me more about Article 14?
Yeah, so NAR is the national level, and then every local board is semi-independent, but kind of charged with investigating any complaints. So if we had a complaint against an agent, or if we had someone complain against us, it's going to go to our local board. And if they reach out to us to provide information, we should help with that proceeding.
All right, here's a tough question, and I don't know if anybody knows, but when you receive an email from TREC about a complaint, how many days do you have to respond? Does anybody know?
30 days.
30 days?
Huh?
Within 30 days?
Less.
And
Less. Maybe 7 days?
2 days?
2 days.
2 days.
Yes. Okay. So when you get, I'll go back and confirm, but I thought I know that I've seen that somewhere. I believe it is 2 days. I'll double check it just to make sure. I'll put it on my notes to verify today. It is 2 days though. As far as I remember, it is 2 days. So remember, and here's the other thing is there's an urgency in real estate. Okay, in case you did not realize that there is an urgency in real estate. What that means is that, you know, when you get, and actually we're going to talk about here in a minute anyway. When you get an offer, you got to submit that offer right away back to your sellers. Make sure you present your offers, not the next day, not 12 hours later, not 16 hours later, hopefully within a couple of hours, right? Or as soon as you see that email, you know, and obviously there's situations where you might be traveling for the next 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours, understandable, right? But hopefully, you know, hopefully if you're representing a seller, just the most important thing is just be available more than anything else. All right, let's go on. I know we're coming up on time here. So, all right, and, the last part of it is duties to realtors. Who do we have next on here? Venkat, you are next on my list again. So tell me more about this one.
No false or misleading statements about other realtors. Yeah, exactly. Like if based on other realtors, we should not misleading.
Yep, misleading, and really it's just basically saying do not talk bad about other realtors, right? They're your colleagues more than anything else, right? You have to work with them today, tomorrow, next week, and next year, right? So always remember to be cordial and be respectful. Okay, so that is extremely important. Does anybody else have anything to add? I thought somebody was trying to say something, but all right. Next one is, let's see here. Who have we not? Gita, are you able to talk? Are you there? All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. So number 16, what do you got?
I cannot read actually. Something happened. It says safe driving mode. Now I am doing in
no
my,
worries.
but I am now doing
Okay,
on my.
no worries. Okay, no worries, no worries. So Vinay, let's go ahead and go to Vinay. That's fine, don't worry, but it's not, believe me, you'll have other opportunities. So, all right,
Don't
so
solicit clients that have already signed an executive listing agreement with another realtor. Like if a buyer or seller is already working with another realtor, do not encourage them, like do not motivate them to work with you like that.
Right. Yep, very good. And I'm gonna, actually, sorry. So tell me more about, that's exactly right. When should that discussion take place? Does anybody know? When should that?
As soon as you.
First meeting.
First meeting, yes. Thank you. Whoever said that. First face-to-face meeting. All right.
It's a word called something from C, I think they used for the courses. First, I forgot the name. It was a like big word they used.
First substantial.
Yes, substantial meeting.
Substantial conversation. Very good. Yes. It's your first, and that's actually the best way to say it. It's your first substantial conversation. Now, along with, so the conversation should be very straightforward. Hey, Joe, thanks for reaching out to me. By the way, are you working with another realtor? Have you signed a buyer rep agreement with another realtor? I just want to make sure I'm not stepping on somebody's toes, right? It goes to article number 15. It goes to your duty as a realtor to make sure that you don't solicit, obviously article 16, do not solicit other clients, agents' clients, basically. Buyer rep agreement on the buyer's agent side. On the listing side, there's really, other than exclusive listing, that goes on the MLS. That's probably the best way to explain it. What one document represents these responsibilities?
IABS.
And when are you supposed to have that delivered to your customers? First face-to-face meeting. Okay, so just remember that. Now, the best way to do this one, the IABS, is to have it on your email signatures. That's probably one of the best ways to do it. All right, last one. And does anybody want to take it? Just go ahead and unmute and go for it if you like. Anyone? All right, I am going to call on Sanjay. since you're on mute and your video's not up, I'm going to call on you and say, all right, Sanjay, tell me what it means.
So I have to read this. Okay. No false or misleading with Article 17.
Yep, Article 17.
Contractual disputes will be mediated or arbitrated by the Realtor Board. What that means is if there are disputes, you cannot directly go to the court.
Correct.
You have to, you have to get the issue mediated through the board.
Yeah, and that's exactly, so that is exactly what it is. Contractual disputes will be mediated or arbitrated by the realtor. If you have a complaint against another realtor, guess who you're going to go to? You're going to go to your broker first, and then let the broker decide if you're going to go ahead, if the both of you are going to go ahead and reach out to the local association to help resolve that dispute. And that is exactly what it means. All right, so we got one more thing to talk about. Actually, we got a couple other things to talk about. All right, TREC advertising rules. So if you click on this link here, it will go over the TREC advertising rules with you. All right. A lot of important information here as far as what is the one requirement for to have on your on any kind of advertising. Does anybody know?
Broker's name and details need to be have.
Yes, and so
and also name of a team and group if you're part of it.
Very good, right? So remember that. So if you're part of a team or a group, you remember there's certain words you cannot use in your advertising. All right, so I want you guys to kind of go over that. The link here goes over some of the main articles. Articles meaning not paper articles, but the articles, the rules that define the advertising rules. Okay, so when you get a chance, go through that. The other thing I was going to show you guys here is there's a slideshow on this. One's really quick and easy, so I want you guys to follow through on this. It really just goes into, this was back in 2018 when the new rules came in. And what you need to know. Two things your advertisements need is your name or your team name if you are part of a team, and then your broker's name or assumed DBA. We're brokers. We don't have, I mean, we do have a DBA as well, and at least half the size of the largest contact information in the ad. Okay, so that is important. Here is, as far as registering your team names, just reach out to me. I will help you register them through TREC. Okay. The other thing is, here's a couple of examples. Sally's real estate team. This is valid because Sally is the agent and Betty's best home, Betty being the broker, this would be an okay sign to have, right? And here again, Sally Sales, Betty's best homes, as long as Betty is the broker, this sign reads correctly or accurately, as we say. And the last part of this is actually in our back agent, and it is the TREC advertising rules. Okay, let me see if it comes up here. Yeah, and this is, I think it's almost like a 15-page presentation on the rules and some of the articles. Again, the Article 12 of the Code of Ethics, TREC Rules 535.1. If you want to read through it, these are great things to kind of just be aware of. Remember, prohibited from requiring in an advertising any identifier, similar designation, person's license number. Okay, so you don't have to have your license number on any kind of advertising. You want to make sure that your status as a real estate professional is readily apparent in your advertising. Whether you're the broker, agent, you can only use realtor if you are part of the National Association of Realtors. All right, these were the effective. So this one's very important, right? So keep in mind, TREC may suspend or revoke your license or take other disciplinary action if you imply that a sales agent is responsible for the operation of the broker's real estate brokerage business, or if you fail to include the name of the broker in your advertising. So one thing that we want to stress and make sure that everybody does it the right way is to make sure that all of your advertising follows these guidelines, especially when having your broker, in this case, ReKonnection, having it at least half the size of the largest font. let me see if there's anything else. These are the ones you have to register with Trek. So if you do happen to an alternate name, does everybody know what an alternate name is? Let's say, for example, if your name is Ashwin and you go by Ash, then it's going to be Ash Patel instead of Ashwin Patel. That would be an alternate name. Obviously, business name, assume business name and is a DBA, and team name is if you're a part of the team. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. And keep in mind that advertising also includes social media content. Okay, it's your text messages. You don't have to necessarily have, but if you're messaging privately, you don't have to have your information on there. Let's see if there's anything in here. Other than that, I think that covers all of it, but I do want you guys to kind of go through this, and I'm going to go back to half the size. Okay, I think we've covered most of this. All right, I'm going to go back to the presentation. There's one more thing I want to cover. All right, so top 10 traits of a real estate professional. So do you guys want to read through this with me? I'm going to and you don't have to explain it. I just want you guys to read through it. So we're going to go straight up the line and just really quickly just talk through it. Okay. So I'm back up on the first one. So Pooja, again, you're my first one on here. So go ahead.
All right, so problem solver mindset. Do you enjoy coming up with creating solutions to problems or issues? Many successful real estate agents know how to properly showcase a house to make it more marketable and develop creative MLS listings to attract the right buyers, or in simple words, just to make it personalized to the person you are showing the house.
And keep in mind, how often do we see MLS listings that on the property description, they have 1 or 2 sentences and that's it. Okay, you're not doing justice to your sellers at all by doing that. If you got wood floors, if they've updated certain things, make sure that the description is viable and it's marketable. And more than anything else, just this goes back to the listings. Your sellers are relying on you, right, to sell the home. So make your best effort to sell the home. All right, let's go to the next person here. Hang on one second. Rama, you're next.
Self-motivated entrepreneur, having a desire to control your own professional destiny and be your own boss, is a trait shared by top real estate professionals. To be successful in real estate requires a high degree self-motivation, drive, and smart decision making.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, let's go to the next one. Gitika, can you still talk, or are you good?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right, good.
And integrity, the professional reputation is crucial to a long and successful career in real estate. Becoming a member of the National Association of Realtors is one way to show you practice high ethical standards. To become a member, you must pledge to a strict code of ethics and standard of practice.
Very good. And that's exactly what we hopefully learned today. I hope. So, all right. Thank you, Gitika. Let's see who's next on my list. Sanjay, you're next. You snuck in there. So you are next on my list. Number 7. Can you read it? Can you see it? Yep. And you're on, yep, there you go.
Okay. So number 7 is hustle and tenacity. Being a top producing real estate agent requires a great work ethic. You must have the tenacity to pursue every lead and the hustle to aggressively market your clients' properties in order to have success. It's not just about putting a lot of time. It's about working smart, putting in the right amount of time and doing whatever is necessary to close the deal.
Good. All right. Thank you. Yeah, hustle and tenacity. Honestly, in our business, you have to have it no matter what. Okay, and I see that day in and day out with you guys. So there's nothing I can say better than just knowing that you guys are there to do this every day, and that really means a lot, not just to me, to our whole brokerage. That you guys are really putting forth this particular term, number 7, which really that's kind of what that started me in real estate, is my hustle and my tenacity to make sure that that I did everything I could to continue doing this to this day, right? So that's very important. All right, thank you. Vinay, are you able to talk? You want to do number 6?
Yep. Interest in houses and architecture. Having a true interest in houses and architecture can give you an advantage over other brokers and salespersons. If your knowledge and interest level is apparent in conversations, your clients will see that you care about the industry and you're in. Yeah, the more you talk, the more you learn about housing and architecture and the designs and interior of the homes, the more you can convince your clients or buyers and sellers for a better price what they are expecting. And it will be a good motivation for the buyers and sellers that, okay, the more the knowledge, the better the services we can provide to the respective clients.
No, very good, thank you. And you actually you brought it up exactly correct. So here's the thing, right? In no matter what you do, whether it's real estate, finance, architecture, nursing, you have to have a passion for it, right? That's the most important thing. And I want you guys to bring that passion into not only this, but whatever you do, right? That's the idea. And you know, having the interest in housing and architecture goes hand in hand with passion. So, you know, and it's not just the architecture or housing. If you enjoy staging, if you enjoy decorating, if you know, I tell this story to so many people, especially my clients when I was younger, was the fact that, you know, at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, when I was in New Jersey, all of my friends, these were same age kids, right? They're, you know, we used to get the Sunday paper. And they would go through the comics and the sports section. I would actually go through the real estate section. That's how I started. You know, so for me, this was a passion since I was a little kid. I used to draw floor plans. That was my idea of having fun. You know, so you don't have to have that kind of passion, but you got to have a little bit, and that's basically what this means. All right, let's see, who do we have next? Think Veronica, you're next on here. So let me get to, all right. There we go. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. 5, engaging personality. A good real estate agent doesn't just sell properties, they sell themselves. It's important to show your real personality. People will respond to you if you have a great attitude and personable and honest, have confidence in your abilities, and get a sense of fulfillment by serving others.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions on that? You got to be personable. That is basically what that means. All right, next one. Let me see here. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Huh?
Oh, it means you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can get. Since you're, yeah, go ahead and tell me what number 4 says.
The 4th one?
Yep.
Okay. Attention to detail. Paying close attention to the details is imperative for your real estate career. A complete real estate agent is attentive to the unique needs of their individual clients. If you are organized, follow up with the leads, communicate well, and pay attention to the needs of your clients, you will close more deals.
Yeah. So you want to say anything about it, or you're good? But you see where we're going with this, right, Geeta?
Yeah, actually, this is all about passion and the way of working, what way you are doing it. So if you are good in communication and you are paying attention, you are ready to, you know, understand right away. You can interpret something, you know, what comes in way, and do the best out of this. So that's all those things.
Yep. So here's, yeah, and that's very true. Thank you.
Step into the shoes of the clients.
Yes. And here's the most important thing, you know, I want you guys to remember from number 4 is don't rush anything. Okay. What I mean by that is that, your client says, you know, I want that offer sent out, you know, by 8 o'clock today, you know, and it's 7 o'clock. That means you have an hour to prepare it, regardless of what they're saying or asking you to do. Remember, you want to go through that contract properly, make sure all the information, because that one little miss, and I'll give you an example, that one little miss of buyer paying title policy as opposed to a seller paying title policy, you know how critical that can be? It could be anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000, right? If it's a $2 million deal, you're going to spend $8,000. So just be careful. That's one, you know, when I was telling you guys earlier that I go through my contracts twice, believe it or not, there's something about, you know, I just don't want to miss that. So I always go back in and make sure who's paying for the title policy. Is that exactly what the client asked for? Is it the seller or the buyer, right? Because that's a pretty big number to make a mistake on. So always remember, just double check your work. We learned that in school, right? Yeah.
Ketan, I just want to add one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in my knowledge, somewhere this happened. I mean, there was more than one offer. Just for all of us, I'm just reminding this. There were more than one offers, and the seller agent accepted one offer, and then something happened. She went to other offer, but she forgot to notify to the first one, you know, the first buyer. So now she's facing the, you know, court thing and this or that. So this is that much important.
Yes, thank you. That is a good example. That's a perfect example, Geeta. So I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. This is all about that due diligence, right? We talk about it every day, due diligence, due diligence, due diligence. So we got to make sure that our attention to detail is extremely important, especially because guess what? You're dealing with contracts. You're dealing with $500,000 or $1 million. All right.
Ketan, on that question, do we need to inform what is the reason to reject that offer?
No. You can just, you don't have to tell them the reason you're rejecting an offer. You know, as long as it doesn't violate fair housing laws, that's the most important thing.
I always use the word that seller. Seller went with the better offer.
Another offer. Yep, exactly. The seller decided to go with another offer. That's exactly what it is. Yep. All right. Let's see. Aparna, let me have you tell me number 3. You're on mute.
Sorry. Understand the local housing market. A top producing real estate agent appreciates and utilizes the nuisances and that make a specific community's housing market and pricing strategy unique. Success comes from identifying and developing a focus or niche in the local real estate market that allows you to distinguish yourself from the competition.
What does that mean to you? You guys have probably heard me say this over and over again. So I used to practice the MLS, right? And what I mean by that, practice. Start with your own property on the MLS, and then, you know, kind of start creating your saved searches. Like right now, today, I have, you know, my property in where I live today. I have that as a saved search. So anytime a new house comes on the market in Rolling Ridge, I know exactly where the market is. If you guys were on our call last week, do you guys remember we were talking about the Frisco? I don't know who was doing the call. It was trying to remember. Yeah, I think it was Ram that was doing the call, right? Yeah. And remember when we were talking about? Let me go pull up the current available. Somebody had asked about, you know, the pricing in Frisco or whatever, right? And so do you remember when I was going through it and I found 0 listings in Frisco? 3 days later, guess how many listings I found in Frisco? 4, right? And what was the conversation at that time? It was all about making sure to understand your local market, right? That is so important. We did that real quickly. I turned around and, you know, I was just on the MLS. I'm like, well, let me just check and see what's going on in Frisco. And all of a sudden, under 400,000, I found 4 of them. I'm like, wow, that's a different change. But remember what we were talking about? We were talking about how the market may be potentially slowing down. And that right there, just doing those little searches will give you the edge that you guys need in understanding your local housing market. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
in Austin, market is going very little slowdown. In some
Yes,
places,
it
no
is.
bidding also.
Yeah.
First, they're saying first come first only.
Yep, and not only that, and those are the things you want to be aware of is where the market is going, because that is how you can then advise your clients, right? That's the important piece. It's all about knowledge about the local market, about understanding the events of today, the events that go on tomorrow that will have an impact on the real estate going into the future. And I'm not talking about future 5 years down the road. I'm talking about future next week. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Good conversations, guys. Really helpful. Let's see. We got 2 more. And what is that next one? All right. So who have I not called? Anybody want to take on this one? Venkat, are you available?
Yes.
All right.
Build a network of connections. Successfully real estate agents have a vast network of contacts within the market they serve. The list of connections should include other real estate agents and brokers, potential buyers and sellers, and all other players in the real estate industry, such as appraisers, home inspectors, and mortgage loan officers. So build connections in the networking that is important for the real estate.
Yeah. Networking. That is probably one of the most important things. And you guys are already doing that today. So don't have to say much about that, but yeah, networking is extremely important in this business. All right. And the last one we got is one of my favorites. Rajni, you want to take on this one?
Yes. Knowledge is power. Staying up to date on the latest topics in real estate and in the local market will allow you to service clients more effectively. Continuing education and professional development are doors to opportunity that you can utilize to expand your business options and stay at the forefront of the real estate field. That's education. CME.
Yeah, education. Knowledge is power. It is the most important thing. Yeah, I mean, we stress it every day, and this is one of the reasons we do what we do every Wednesday, right? Is to make sure that you guys are staying current with everything that we are able to teach you guys. All right. I know we went almost 15-20 minutes over, which I'm perfectly okay with. I wasn't expecting it to go into just 45 minutes today anyway. The last thing I want to give you guys is just this right here. Okay. I'm going to drop here in a minute, but this is what is probably the most, and I'm just going to have you guys read through it. And then I'm going to drop, so this is the end of it, right? So just read through this. I want you guys to understand what this means, and, take a picture. Actually, you have it in the presentation. So don't need to say much more about it, but if you have any questions on any of this, reach out to me offline. We will do real estate bootcamp day number 2 next Wednesday. So every Wednesday for the next 2 months, if not actually for the next 3 months. There might be a couple of weeks we may do something different, but we're going to try to get through all of these series in the next 2-3 months, I guess. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Thank you, Ketan.
All right.
Ketan, I have a question about the listing.
Yeah, so Rajni, I got yours. Just call me offline. Yeah. We'll talk. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
I'll leave it up.
Bye.
I'll leave
Thank
it
you.
for another 2 minutes and then I'm going to drop. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. I'm going to call you, Rajni. I'll call you on the phone.
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to leave. I can't see the button.
No worries. Bye-bye. I'm going to end it anyway.